Hello, I'm Christy Forsyth. I am a spiritual life coach and intuitive. This is your weekly reading where we talk all about what it is that you need to know, what's happening in the cosmos, what's going on in the energy, how is it going to be impacting you, how is it impacting you right now? What do you need to know in order to be able to master the energy that is happening this week? Because all the time we have energy that is flowing to us and we have the opportunity to use it to our benefit. So that's what we talk about today. So we talk about what I'm feeling in the energy. We talk about the channeled messages that I've connected with around this energy. And then we build on those messages with some tarot cards. So make sure you guys say hello if you're watching. If you're watching this on my YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. And I'm always excited to see new subscribers there. If you're watching on my Facebook, please swing by and do that. Like this video, share this video, comment. All of it helps to connect with the people that it needs to connect with. So let's dive in. Are you guys feeling more anxious right now? I definitely have felt that be stirred up within me. Definitely a lot of energy that's flowing through me. I found that in the past several days, I've found that there has been a lot of triggering that's happening. Have you guys been triggered by things? And it's felt like triggers that are bringing things up that I wasn't aware was even still an issue, or has made me feel in ways that I didn't expect I would feel again. So there's been a lot to work through, and I've heard this from a lot of people that they're going through and navigating a lot of these triggers as well. So I want to start this video by talking about what I feel is happening in the energy and why we're feeling this. Last week, I talked all about green lights, that we have a lot of green lights that are happening for us, that we also here in this week will have a lot of green lights that are happening for us. And we have had Mars now. I was talking about it last week, but Mars is now officially direct. It is no longer in retrograde. And we, for this very little brief window of time, have an opening where we don't have planets slowing us down, where we don't have anything holding us back. And so I think that it's such a sharp contrast from what we've been feeling for so long that it feels like, oh my gosh, the energy is moving forward. So we may feel compelled to take action, but we may not be aware that we're compelled to take action. We might just feel anxious about it, or we might feel as though we're being triggered. We might experience being triggered and not understand that these triggers are meant to propel us into taking action in some way. It's showing us where we need to work on something, where we need to change something, where we need to take action on something, especially within this small little window of time, because we will have Venus going into retrograde on the 1st. So what is that? Friday, I believe. So we have this little window of time, and it's not that we won't be able to take action, because I feel that we will be. And I very much feel that March is going to be very busy and very active, despite having Venus in retrograde and Mercury in retrograde, both of which can slow us down and make us go within a little bit more. But I feel such a momentum that's going to be happening in that month. But I feel as though this week and the last week were the jumping off points toward that, meaning that this is the setup for that. And now we're in this place where we're starting to recognize that through all of those retrogrades where we had to go within, where we had to listen to ourselves, where we had to do all of this personal development, self-development kind of work, we're now understanding that it's been training us for whatever is next for us. And so I think that you're going to recognize that this week, where you're recognizing that you've been trained to handle the situations that have been coming up for you and that will be coming up for you, meaning that you're ready, meaning that you've worked through the things. But I think sometimes we get to this place where when it comes time to take action, when it comes time to actually shift into this new era, this new phase, this new beginning that we're feeling compelled to shift into, we don't quite feel ready, or it's so different from where we've been, or there's that fear that it will be the same as it was in the past. And that's not what this energy is at all. This energy is new. This is fresh. It's a new era. I was saying last week that I think a lot of us are finding ourselves here with a green light in front of us. And we look at that and we go, is that light really green? Because we've been slowed down for so long. We've struggled through so many things. And there's that fear. Is this really happening for me? Or when's the other shoe going to drop? Is this going to work out for me? Is this going to be okay? And I think that right now, if we're feeling compelled to go through these green lights, to take these opportunities that are opening up for us, that we need to do it and we need to act. This is a powerful opportunity if we're willing to do that. This is a time right now. I say training season is over, right? It's because it's time to step into this next phase. This is a time where there will be a lot of green lights. There are a lot of new beginnings. There is a momentum that is building that we will continue to build all throughout the month of March. And it's going to be a different momentum. We need to prepare ourselves. We need to understand that there's so much change that's already been happening and so much change ahead. So we really need to become these masters of flow. We need to become, I don't know, what do they call like a master surfer? I don't know. Maybe it's just called a master surfer. We need to be able to surf these waves as they're coming through and have a good time doing it. Living our lives and allowing ourselves to be led and allowing ourselves to be shown, because we truly are being ushered into a new era. And so we have to allow all of that. So there are things that are happening. There's going to be a lot this week and moving forward into March, a lot of tangible progress on the things that we've been waiting for. I want you to look for it. I want you to recognize it and see the world with grateful eyes and excited eyes, because you're going to start to see that things that you've been waiting on, that you've been feeling were coming, but you weren't quite sure. There's going to be things that are happening and developing where we have that tangible progress. There's going to be a lot of plot twists in this energy. So prepare yourself for that. There's going to be a lot of plot twists moving ahead. And so know that, and know that you want to just allow yourself to be moved with the energy and let it show you where to go. Follow your heart, follow your passion. That is always going to lead you in the direction that you're meant to go. And we've been tuning in with ourselves for a long time, so we already know the answers. It's just a matter of working through the fear and being willing to shift into that and move into that and truly step into that. I think we know this is a big step. This is a big change. These things that we're stepping into have the ability to change our lives for the better in so many powerful ways, but that can feel really intimidating when you're feeling the energy of that and you're right on the edge of taking that leap of faith. There's going to be destined events that are happening here in this energy. So noticing that and watching all of that happen. But here's the thing. Training season is over. It's time for us to step in and to do what we need to do. So none of these things will be developing for us if we are not willing to take action. The time is now to take action on things. And this is what we need to uphold in order to move this. So if we have a green light, we need to be willing to move through it. If we have an opening and we're feeling that pull to lean into that, we need to be willing to lean in. We've been talking about leaning in for quite some time. We need to be willing to make some big moves. I feel like in this energy, there's a lot of big moves that we're being invited to take. Hi, Meg. Hi, Brandon. Oh, it's nice to see you here, Brandon. I haven't seen you in a while. So we have to be willing to make these big moves. But what is it about big moves? They're scary. They're incredibly scary. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves as we're navigating this. But you'll know, your soul knows. And you're going to feel like the flow is naturally taking you there. The other thing, when I was connecting with this energy, I heard this specific sentence that said, chances that are worth taking. And I think we're doing a lot of that this week. I think we're doing a lot of that as we move into March, is taking chances, but it's only the chances that are worth taking. And I think that we're evaluating that. But as we are willing to take these chances, we're going to see the rewards coming in for that. We also are going to be needing to navigate these triggers that are coming up because there are triggers happening. Again, they're purposeful. They're meant to trigger you. They're meant to remind you, first of all, who the fuck you are, but they're also meant to help support you in whatever steps you're needing to take. And sometimes we need to get triggered. Sometimes we need to get frustrated. Sometimes we need to be afraid in order to say, you know what, I'm fed up with this. I've had enough of my own bullshit. I've had enough of other people's bullshit, whatever that is for you. I'm done. And this is triggering me into action in some way. Action that honors everybody involved, of course. We're never about interfering or being harmful to people, right? But navigating these triggers and asking yourself, how can I use this to propel me forward? So, for example, thinking about, I think we're finding ourselves getting into a lot of triggers where it's stirring up a lot of self-sabotage type stuff. So paying attention to that. Where am I sabotaging myself? Where am I holding myself back from being happy? Where am I holding myself from living the best life that I could be? And so let these triggers show you the steps that you need to take so that you're not sabotaging yourself, so that you're setting yourself up for success. I would love to hear from you guys. Are you guys in that place where you are catching yourself sabotaging yourself in some ways? I've caught it a couple of times in myself and have had to call myself out. And I've done a lot of work around that just today in my sessions, but in a lot of sessions recently too. We also have to be open to allowing truth. And I think a lot of the truth that's coming to the surface right now, some of this is like a bitter pill to swallow. It is not easy, but it also is what it is. And so taking that and allowing ourselves to be open to what the truth is or the truth of a situation and being willing to be adaptable and flexible. Maybe the truth is the trigger. And so taking a look at that and asking ourselves, what do I want to do with this? I think that the answer to that in this energy is a lot of patience and a lot of communication around the things that we need to be communicating about and making sure that we're not going backwards. We aren't in any retrogrades and we have this little window and then we move into Venus retrograde. And by the way, don't get back together with your ex because that happens a lot during Venus retrograde. But just across the board, do not go backwards in your life. This is about moving forward. This is about stepping into the life that you're meant to be living, the life you've been working on. You've been working toward this for a long time. We've been learning a lot. We've been preparing, and we will continue to be prepared. But we also are ready for a lot of these things. And so to be willing to continue to move forward and to take these leaps of faith and to lean into the direction that things are going. And it might look different than we expected. I say that all the time because a lot of times the ego has this plan for how this needs to look. And then, what's that quote? When we make plans, God laughs or something like that, right? And that's very much how I experience things a lot. I know so many of you do too as well. And we don't want to get so caught up in holding that vision of it has to be this exact way or this exact job, this exact person, this exact experience. Surf where the energy is taking you. But also something else that I wrote down was to let ourselves in this Pisces energy. We're in Pisces season now. Pisces season, what it does very well is it helps us to be dreamy and it helps us to dream big and it helps us to fantasize and daydream and to have more dreams and to connect with our dreams at night. So I would be curious, are you guys having any weird dreams? Let me know in the comments. But it gives us this opportunity to be more dreamy. But here's the key to mastering this season is to let ourselves be dreamy without being delusional. If we are caught up in the dream so much that we don't have one foot on the earth, that can be really problematic. That can get us in trouble, especially here in this energy that we have. So we just want to find that balance. We want to dream and we want to be excited and hold the energy of all that we want to create, but we also want to do that in a way that's also grounded and honors where the current circumstances of our lives are and doesn't get us completely lost in a delusion that isn't going to serve us. So hopefully that makes sense. So let yourself be dreamy. Just don't get so caught up in it that you're lying to yourself, because this is a time of truth. And this is about being honest with ourselves as well. We also have, it's so important in this energy for us to be holding ourselves accountable in this energy. So paying attention to that. And I felt like when I was writing that down, that we need to be holding ourselves accountable, that we're going to try to be at battle with ourselves this week in some ways. We're going to try to set ourselves back. We're going to try to sabotage ourselves. So we're going to need to win this battle with the ego. We're going to need to recognize where we're holding ourselves back, where we're preventing ourselves from being happy, or where we're making choices that aren't contributing in a positive way to our lives. We have to be willing to look at that and really hold ourselves accountable and make the changes that we need to make, even if we feel afraid about that. So that's important. This week also on the 27th. So what is today? Let's see. The 25th. So in a couple of days, we will have this new moon in Pisces. And this energy feels really beautiful to me. It might be emotional, but it's definitely a very dreamy energy. It's an energy that is focused around new beginnings. So it's a good time to focus on the things that you want to create, to focus on manifestation in a very intentional way, or to set intentions, or to pray for the things that you want, however you connect with that. It's also, to me, just a sweet, loving energy. And it just feels like this little warm reprieve from some of the intensity that we have happening in this energy. And again, I want to point out, the intensity is not necessarily bad. This is happening for us, but it can feel very, very intense. But it's here to support us in applying all of these lessons that we've been preparing for a very long time. We might find ourselves also around this Pisces new moon taking a look at, where am I on my path? Where am I on my spiritual journey right now? Because Pisces energy is very spiritual. So that might be highlighting some things for you in terms of where you want to be a little bit more spiritually connected or something like that. So I feel that with this, the bottom line is that this energy feels in some ways like we're going to be experiencing some final exams with things. And that's what these triggers are about. So Meg is saying, please no more plot twists, right? But what if the plot twist is a final test? What if it's saying, okay, you want to create these things in your life. You've asked for these things. You've started to move in this direction. You've been learning all these lessons. You've been mastering all these lessons. But here we are at the final exam. What are you going to do with that? So what is the final exam going to look like? And it might be this week. It might be after this. But it's probably in some way going to look like the repeat of a lot of the cycles that you've been experiencing for a long time. So, and there's your sound response. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I can hear that going off on my computer. So I always say a sound response when I am doing a reading is like an exclamation point for what I'm talking about at the moment. So there's your sound response. So where was I? It's going to look like a pattern or a similar situation that you've experienced maybe many times in your life. And you're looking at that and you're being called to handle it in some way that's different than how you've handled it before. If you can do that, I feel like we're going to pass the test quickly. We're going to pass the test easily. And this is that movement into this next phase of things. This is where we say, like, we're all trained. We're all prepared. We've been learning for so long. And it's just a matter of allowing it to unfold or handling it in a different way. Something important here. And Meg said, oh my God, you're talking right to me. Yeah, good. Because like this energy, this is an important reading this week. This is an important energy because we're really choosing. What do we want this new era to look like? We've been choosing that, but this week feels like now we're laying down the foundation. We are starting to really set that up, and we get to decide what timeline do we want to exist on. So meaning, what do we want the experience to be? We can be on a lower timeline and we can continue to manifest and experience the same old lessons, the same shitty things that have been happening for so long, or we can choose higher, we can choose better and choose to have a better experience. But that is going to come through mastering the lessons, through learning rather than repeating, through allowing yourself to let go of this stuff that we have just been holding on to and refusing to let go of, or these self-sabotaging behaviors that we know. I feel like these are things that we're conscious of that we know aren't serving us anymore. So it's time to let it go. It's time to make a different choice. And I think that that is going to be the key that unlocks these higher timeline experiences where we're manifesting all of the things that we want to create. That's going to unlock more of these green lights, this positive movement forward. So God, the universe, is asking you to make your investments in this energy this week. This isn't a lay back and just let it happen week, although certainly we want to be in the flow. This is also when you feel that inspiration to take an action, to make a change, to handle something differently, do it. That is going to help to bring you into that next timeline. So that's such powerful stuff. Renee's saying bizarre dreams. Definitely. Yeah. My dreams have been so weird. They always are during Pisces season. Something I've also noticed is that tends to be the time where our crossed loved ones come through in dreams. Usually around Halloween when the veil is thinner, but also during Pisces season. So I love my dreams during Pisces season, even if they're a little weird, but I feel like I learn a lot about myself. I also love these connections where, we can connect with our crossed loved ones anytime that we want in our dreams, but we tend to remember them more and we tend to have more of those experiences during Pisces season. So I love that. By the way, if you like dreams, if you're interested in dreams, King of Wands in reverse, I do have a dream class now up in my membership. It's at claritybychristy.com, the Empress, the Wheel of Fortune. They both came out together. claritybychristy.com, and check out my membership. It's $9.99 a month, or you can do an annual payment of $99 and you get access to that. You get access to over 3 years. Oh, here's that tower. I told you it's change. Change is coming in. I'm going to talk about these in a minute. But there's all kinds of tools. There's readings. I do a monthly reading. I'm getting ready to get that put up for the month of March. So you get a bird's eye view of what's happening in the month of March. I do a cheat sheet to go along with that. These cards are wanting to pop out today. I feel like this energy is a little stubborn too. Anybody else been feeling kind of stubborn? There's a monthly cheat sheet that highlights all of the things that I talk about in the video in case you don't have time to watch the video, or if you just want to refresh your memory. All right, come on, cards. We're going to have to do this a different way. There are hypnosis sessions, meditations, and my favorite thing is the energy sessions. The energy sessions are basically you treat them like a guided meditation, but they are infused with I do a full energy session with them. So they help to, and now we're going. Okay. 10 of Swords. They help to balance your energy field, clear out whatever needs to be cleared out over the course of the month. They help you to connect with whatever downloads you need to connect with. So it's just a powerful way to do that. And then there's always a specific energy that's connected with those to help you to best navigate the month. I also do one for the full moons as well to help you to navigate the intensity. So anyway, let's dive into these cards. The Knight of Wands in reverse. I feel this so strongly. Where are you getting in your own way? Where are you holding yourself back from happiness? Where are you holding yourself back from success? Where are you not applying the things that you know will help you? Where are you not making the changes that you know that you need to make? Where are you being too stubborn? And I'm a Taurus. I love stubbornness, but sometimes we're too stubborn. Where are you preventing yourself from having the best life possible for yourself? these are important questions for us to be asking ourselves right now, because the Empress, we want to be in a place of receiving. The Empress is the magnet of the tarot. She does not chase, she attracts. So maybe part of it is, are we trying to force some things? Is that where there's that self-sabotage? Are you trying to force something that just isn't meant for you, or isn't meant to work, or isn't, are you, or are you trying to force yourself to hold yourself back from allowing change, allowing something to develop? Because sometimes the Empress, when we can block our blessings sometimes, and so sometimes this is about that too. I think if we can work with this energy, there are so many blessings that are coming in. The things that you've been calling in, the opportunities, the tangible progress. This is tangible progress. This is like, oh, that manifested for me. I've been focusing on that for a long time, and here it is. So definitely use this new moon to call in what you want to call in. Also, know your worth, know your value, know that sometimes we have to hold out for a higher experience. Even if part of our heart is connected to a lower experience in some way, an experience that our ego is attached to. This is about releasing attachment. This is about detachment all the way. If you are not learning detachment in 2025, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be a tough year. So working on that detachment, working on letting go of specific outcomes, working on trying to not control things, trying to go with the flow, that is going to serve you very well this week and this year, because things are happening. Wheel of Fortune. Things are moving forward. I feel like we had both of these cards last week. Things are moving forward. Things are changing. This feels like those destined events that I was talking about. There's a lot of destiny that's happening right now. A lot of the universe comes in, God comes in and says, this needs to happen now, or this needs to stop now, right? Because sometimes destined events are blocking you from moving in a direction that isn't good for you. Redirection is God's protection, right? So knowing that there are things that are developing and happening for us, and we have to allow it, and we have to be willing to do our part and to go with the flow. So these plot twists can be positive plot twists. Absolutely. I feel that so much, that they're happening for us. But this can be, sometimes the Wheel of Fortune is a sharp turn from the trajectory that we have been on. And I feel that so much. Last week I was saying we had a lot of major arcana cards. We have 3 out of the 6 again today. So this is significant. These are significant life events. Hi, Susan. Nice to see you on here. Hi, Lynette. I can't remember if I said hi to you, Renee. Thank you guys so much for commenting. It means everything. The Tower. Let whatever wants to fall apart, let it fall apart, because that means that there's something better for you. Let the universe move things around in such a way that it is helping you to be on your best path. Do not fight it. Do not try to hold on to anything too tightly. Let it happen. These are plot twists. These are surprises, but this is always happening for us. And to be honest with you, I feel like the biggest tower moments that we're having right now are a shift in perspective. It's this understanding that we're no longer willing to see the world in the way that we used to see it, that we're no longer willing to operate from the same paradigms that we used to operate from. We're willing to do it differently, and we're willing to do it better. And we're willing to be hopeful and excited, and to understand that there can be more ease, that things can be better, that these green lights can be good, that these plot twists can be good, that these events that are happening for us. And it doesn't always mean that the other shoe is going to drop. It's all good. So letting it develop as it wants to develop. 6 of Swords in reverse, but do not go backwards. We can look back to reflect and to learn. But this is a very clear message when the Six of Swords is coming up. Do not go back into old habits, old relationships, old ways of thinking. You've worked way too hard to move yourself out of that. Don't go backwards in a moment where your ego gets the best of you. You will regret it. I promise you. Building on that message, last card, the Ten of Swords. Let that shit go. Whatever that is. Look how many swords he has on him. This is done. It's acknowledging that something is done. It's acknowledging that a chapter is closed, that we truly have moved into a new era, and that we need to embrace what's here and now in this era. And yes, there may be some time that we need to reflect and we need to heal the past and all of that, but that doesn't mean that we move backwards. Backwards is not the direction. We want to focus on clearing and releasing and letting go and forgiving so that we can allow ourselves to build on this momentum that we're creating now. This is about creating a momentum that you are going to be building on, where it's opportunity after opportunity, manifestation after manifestation. But if you don't get that momentum moving, if you're not willing to work with what your intuition knows is true, that's not going to move in the same way. And you're not going to be able to connect with these blessings in the same way. So I feel really good about it. I think that there is an intensity, but I think that it's bringing a lot of blessings for us and helping for us to step into the roles and the connections and the opportunities that we have been meant for our entire lives. And now we're finally ready. All right, guys, thank you so much. If these messages resonated with you at all, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on my YouTube, share this. Talk about it with your friends. Whatever you feel called to do, you can share it privately in Messenger, whatever, but share it, please. It helps these videos to connect with the people that need to hear these messages. Thank you so much, and I will see you soon with another video. Take care.